Alright, what is up, guys? This is a quick Sunday preparation video here for you guys. So the first thing I want to just go ahead, because we're going to go straight into it. The first thing I want to go ahead and get into is let's look at the SPY really quick and kind of my thoughts on what the SPY may do tomorrow. So on Monday, I would not go ahead and expect too much to happen. I do think that there's a good chance that we're probably going to stay within this huge Thursday moves range. So I don't expect us to like fly all the way up here and break Thursday's high. And I also don't think that we just fly off the rails and fail the 100 daily moving average with ease and just completely fail to follow through. Now, I'd actually be prepared for that rather than the actual up move. I'd be more prepared for the downside move for kind of a change in character in the SPY to maybe possibly try to get down and test the 200 daily moving average. I think that that's a good opportunity. But I do think that there's a good possibility that we could just chop around here on the SPY. Now, if we do sit here and chop on the SPY, there are a couple of names that I am very interested in via longs and shorts. So I will go ahead and go over that in just a moment here. But I do want to go ahead and just state that, listen, if we start to build over Friday's high, I definitely want to just make sure that we have Thursday's high, really, we're paying attention to the supply area up here. This is going to be very imperative important to stare at, as well as this 100 daily moving average. Obviously, the 100 daily is always going to be important. I don't expect major decisions on Monday. Maybe we do get a little bit of fail follow through. Maybe we might get a pop. Who knows? But here's what I'm going to be prepared for based on how SPY may move. So the first thing I want to bring up is Microsoft. Microsoft is close to that 200 daily moving average. As you can see, it kind of wicked off of it on Friday. So I want to, if the SPY is either going to hold flat and or be trending towards the upside, I want to be looking at Microsoft for a possible long opportunity, right? Like, this is coming straight into the daily 200. It's been getting hammered. I want to see if this can possibly catch a little bit of a relief bounce. So that is what I'll be looking for on the long side. I also want to go ahead and look at Oracle really quick for you guys. Oracle's kind of in the same, scenario. I do have a price alert here. If the market yet again is going to be flat and or be going up in price, I want to be looking at Oracle for a possible relief bounce. And that's because if you pull up the weekly, we're right back at previous all-time highs from the launch. This is right back at, the all-time high before we launched and never came back to retest. We finally got the retest. This is something I am very interested in. If the market could catch a bid, Oracle is going to be something that is on my watch, and it is going to be a very big watch. This could possibly be an A+S setup if it sets up properly, because not only is this retesting the previous all-time highs, but if it reclaims that 200 level, this is a key psych level. If it reclaims it and starts to really get going, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if we see 211, 212, on Monday. It would not be a shocker to me at all, in the slightest. So my only goal is I don't want to be rushing into these trades, guys. Like, it's so important to realize, because if hypothetically, let's say somehow the ES is gapping up or whatever the case may be, and SPY is gapping up, it's going to change the whole thing. I'm not going to be chasing along if we're immediately gapping up above like 207. I will end up waiting for dips, that I can go ahead and purchase. I'm not just off the gate. If we're gapping up, I'm not off the gate getting into this trade. So that is another name. I also want to look at MSTR. MSTR is absolutely getting butchered. So, same with this area. If it could reclaim like 184-ish area, 184, I want to see how it can build. That is if the market can stay strong. Now for possible short opportunities, I do like MU for the possible short. If market starts to get weak, I would like it versus this kind of level, this 216-ish level. Give or take a few points. I'll be waiting for a setup somewhere around there to see if MU can get some fail follow through setups under that. And then we have Amazon. This will be more than likely a long as well. As you can see, it's at the 200 daily moving average. So I'll probably be looking at Amazon for a long side trade as well if we could catch a bid on the market. I think Meta, let me see what Meta was looking like. Yeah, Meta seems to be building a little bit right here. Just before the gap. So let's see how this wants to go ahead and build. Same scenario. You know, if market's strong, you know, this might be a good name to go ahead and attack. If the market yet again is gapping up, I am less likely to go ahead and rush into a trade, guys. It just is what it is. If the market wants to gap up, you know, 200, 300 points based off whatever news or whatever, you know, I'm going to let things come to me. I'm not going to force anything. But if these names are opening up flat near this demand, so on and so forth, I really like those names for longs. What else am I looking for a possible short? Let me see AVGO. I think AVGO is kind of flattish. Yeah, AVGO's flat. Apple. Apple has a nice little, it's basing well between this, you know, 64-ish all the way to this, you know, 276. Realistically, if Apple could clear this 277.32, that's where I'm actually interested in possibly longing Apple for an all-time high breakout. And RGTI, these are the quantum names. Look at these names getting hammered. You know, not interested yet. Let's see how these things kind of build up the next couple of days. This is really market related. And what other short? Did I have any other short out? I think MU might actually be the only short opportunity that I'm actually interested in. Let's see Netflix really quick. Yeah, Netflix doesn't interest me as much. I actually am more willing to buy these dips in my long-term portfolio. I do think at some point Netflix is going to see sub 100, and when it goes sub 100, I'm going to be buying a shit ton. I'll be buying a shit ton in my long-term portfolio when it goes sub 100. There's a high chance that I think it does get there. So that's Netflix, and that's like a little long-term play. We do also have Circle. Circle's been absolutely butchered, you know, since forever. If we pull up a weekly, I mean, it's just freaking hammered. So, you know, keep this name on watch for a possible relief bounce. And yeah, all of these are just basically, all these positions are all just dependent on what the market is going to do, right? Do we gap up? Do we gap down? You know, no one knows. It's Monday. Everyone's going to be super, super anxious. So let's find out what the market's going to do. Let's not rush into any positions. I don't really think I have much more out of this. What do I have on the side? I have, I'll probably look at ARM. It's been a while. I haven't even looked at ARM in forever. Yeah, we can look at ARM probably. Yeah, let's look at ARM. Let's look at ARM. I haven't looked at ARM in like months. So let's check what ARM's doing. Yeah, ARM off the face of the earth, you know, all semiconductors really just, you know, kind of off the face of the earth. Let's see what this looks like on the weekly. It's back kind of within the range. You know, if you go ahead and just kind of draw lines, right? Like if we go ahead and draw lines and where these wicks are being claimed at, you know, you can see that it's like here and up here. So it's just, you know, this is just a gigantic range. I'd actually prefer probably here, right? Because there's a little bit more of an exhaustion. So I'd actually prefer, because these are where the wicks are coming down. They exhaust up, it come down. So if it goes under this, I would assume that it's an exhaustion move to then get rebitted. So that's ARM essentially. And that's about it, guys. I mean, really, the big watches are, in my opinion, the big watches is Microsoft for possible longs, Oracle possible longs, Amazon possible longs, Circle possible longs. MU would be a short opportunity for me. And I mean, we could see NVIDIA really quick. Yeah, NVIDIA is just kind of ugly, right? It's just kind of ugly. I'm not interested. So that's basically my watch. And this is all just depending on how this buy wants to go ahead and react on Monday. Don't rush into any trades, man. Please be passive in this market. Volatility has been increasing, which means that you should sit on hands until you really get an A+ opportunity. And that is it for me, guys. Hope you guys have a good day. Hope this prepares you in some form or fashion. And that's all I have for you guys. Later.